same thing with big footwork, yeah?
Between.
No, like
At the end of the one.
we're going to knock this down. Imagine that's my jab. If you go over with that straight, yeah. Can't like. It's a great shot to come over the top of someone's jab. No, with southpaw, slap it down.
Just throw it as a cross now.
You can't really like.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice shot. Sorry. That's good. Shot. Brilliant shot. Jab. Double jab shit.
Your fight cancelled earlier on in the year, mate, because of your neck injury. Obviously, you couldn't really talk about that for obvious reasons at the time, but what can you say about that now?
It sucked. It is what it is. Like, I hurt my neck, and then if I'd have probably taken like a week off of rounds when it initially happened, a week or two off of rounds when it initially happened, I think I'd have been alright to still fight. But then it's so hard to take that time off when you've got a fight to prepare for. And you're like, oh, I've got to do this. I've got to do these rounds. I need to do these rounds. And then I ended up just training through it for a few weeks. And then like it got to the point where like after pretty much every sparring session, I was like, oh, I wish I could have done more. My neck was hurting and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that. And then I started like jolting it and getting like stingers. And then at that point I was like, right, I fucked this. I was talking to one of my coaches and he was saying about how like his neck problems are just causing him like major issues in his life now because he can't sleep properly. And I'm like, I don't want major issues in my retirement, so I'm going to look after my neck now. And now I'm making more of an effort to strengthen it and stuff. And it's benefiting me just doing the strength exercises. Like I've already felt like the benefit of that, well, like grappling and wrestling and stuff now. But yeah, so lessons learned. Necks are very vulnerable, especially when you've got a skinny neck and a big head like me. They're very vulnerable, so look after them and strengthen them up.
Last one I was speaking to you reckon your next fight's either going to be for the title against Paul Hughes or the winner of Ryan Shelley versus Thriller, which we just saw 2 days ago. Have you heard any more about that?
I haven't heard any more about it. Like my own personal take on it is like I'm up for whoever. If Hughes wants to actually defend his belt, I'm here. We can get it sorted. Hughes was saying stuff about 2 belts. I think it would be very foolish of him to fight George. I think, you know, obviously I am biased, but I think George is just that much physically bigger than him as well. It would be a big fight, don't get me wrong, if Hughes and George fought. I think it would be arguably the biggest fight in Cage Warriors history. Like, Hughes has this massive following, and George is obviously the Cage Warriors lightweight GOAT. He's arguably one of the best champs in Cage Warriors history, because a lot of times champs end up going, but George has stayed, defended his belt, been finishing people. So it would be a massive fight if it happened. But if that does happen, I want a fucking interim title at least. I can't be like losing out on a title shot because of him. Fucking this dickhead, look at him. Why is Joe playing so easy this anyway. But yeah, I'll fight Harilla. That'd be a good scrap. I feel like that has the makings of being the best fight in Cage Warriors history. Like, I think even the most boring version of me versus Harilla is going to be like an absolute cracker of a fight. Like, you've got to think, probably the most boring fight I've had is maybe Conmon Death. That wasn't an unentertaining fight by any stretch of the imagination. And like, I was a bit fucking ill and injured going into that one, but like, it is what it is. And then probably the only time Harilla's been in a somewhat boring fight was Gomes. Even then, that wasn't as much Harilla's fault. That was Gomes' bizarro footwork and strategy that made that one kind of boring. So yeah, me versus Harilla, that would be a fucking banger of a fight. But yeah, I just want to fight in July. Like, there's all this talk of belts and this and that. I haven't fought since November. I want to fight. I'm gagging for a fight at this point. I've made lots of progress. Even when I was injured, I was still able to find ways to work around it. I was still able to improve. Come back, been doing rounds, been getting loads of different rounds in, loads of different looks in, changing things up, adding new little tools. Been getting like much bigger and physically stronger in this time. I've put like a big focus on strength training. So I'm wanting to fight. I want July.
What did you reckon of his win over Shelley at the weekend, that finish?
It was a very strange fight in a lot of regards. I when people were asking me, I thought Shelley was going to rear naked him. I just thought the way the skills matched up, I thought Shelley was going to, in some exchange, find his way to Harilla's back, get his back, maybe body triangle, and get in the rear naked. But Harilla defended well. Like, there was those fucking precarious split-second moments where he did the right thing, and that kept him in the fight long enough to land the shot that hurt Shelley. It was just a weird fucking kind of punch.
I was gonna say it's weird, like sort of hammer fist sort of thing, but
Alex Pereira does like a chop a lot of the times because of the way he throws his hook, a chop lines up better than a right straight. Like, there's a lot of power in a chop if you can get like your hips behind it, which Harilla did. Like, he wasn't just going, he didn't fucking do like some weird limp-wristed Wing Chun at him. It's like he ducked down, and as he come back up, like, he got his legs and his hips involved in the chop, and then he's very good at like, he hit Shelley froze when he got hurt, which against a guy like Harilla is just a death sentence. Like, I've been hurt bad in fights. If you freeze for a second, if you will take that second and allow them in on you anymore, you're not giving yourself good chances. Like, obviously, I don't know how hurt Shelley was, but Shelley took that shot and then stopped for a second, and then that was just boom, death.
there's a bit of an aura around her, really. Like, he's never been like a pretty scary guy, kind of like the clown mask on and stuff. Does that off-put you at all? Or?
No.
Okay.
Like, it's a mask and it's a walkout. It is what it is. He's a phenomenal puncher. He has this real belief in his ability to chin a guy and catch a guy. But that style, that approach comes with its own flaws, its own drawbacks. There's lots of things I think I can exploit in a matchup with Harilla. You know.
Like what?
We'll see.
What have you been working on this morning, mate?
So this morning, I had a pretty like big week last week of rounds. I did like fucking 11 threes of MMA sparring and some submission wrestling on Monday. I did 11 fives of jiu-jitsu on Tuesday, like 35 minutes of position rounds Wednesday, half an hour wrestling Thursday, and then like 35 minutes of rounds on Friday. Like, I did a lot of rounds last week, so I'm still feeling a little bit sore from last week, so I just want to come in and do some pads. Joe Crowther, like, he's able to get in more now. The guy's fucking brilliant pad doing like boxing coach, and he's got a really good mind for it. Him and George doing a long round of shoulder knees at the minute, so trying to just improve the footwork without taking damage. But yeah, just been working some hands this morning, just come in.
How do you and George know?
Well, he used to fight years ago. He like had loads of amateur boxing fights and had a few fights out of this gym. But then, like, there's been times where he's like, oh, I'll hold some pads for you and then give you some tips and stuff. And then we're like, oh yeah, he really knows his shit. Like, this is really good. Like, a lot of like our footwork stuff we've kind of like got from him. Like, obviously there's other stuff we've got from other people, but like, I would say me in particular, my footwork is very proper.
Most vicious game of shoulder knees y'all about to see.
Wonder if you tracked a GPS on yourself. Just above house. Like the distance, how many kilometers?
What were you working on this morning, Harry?
So we're just doing some footwork, some feints. Just working more on movement, because obviously the tough guys, that good with the pressure, I just want to help them take less punishment.
You said that's your speciality. Why is that?
I just think it's important, you know, for a long career. You see, I think if you want to be at the top and you want to be good, you got to make a miss. It's good to be tough, come forward and put that pressure on, but it's, you know, you got to think your health as well. So a lot of footwork, a lot of feints, a lot of defence. You know, nice, sharp, crisp, straight shots. That's what I like.
Hit and don't get hit.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet science.
you know, those moments in a fight where you're out of stance
Yeah.
and bring it back. Because, like, you know, even as most as you drill your stance and technique
Yeah.
all the time, you're still going to end up
Falling out of it.
out of positioning. And there's a good little like balance of that.
Yeah.
And practice some goofy feints because they fucking throw people off.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
people used to sometimes reading the low kick feint, the jab feint, but sometimes just fucking.
Yeah. Look at that body shot you landed where you did that.
I mean, the body's not really a target on this. I just thought
Maybe you know that fight where you dropped the guy.
oh
you
yeah,
did
like
that?
boom.
I always thought of like knees and shoulders as just a warm up thing, but you're doing it like actually part of the session.
That's been most of my session today. I lifted weights this morning, shadow boxed, did a few play arounds with one of the lads that I had a one-to-one in with, and then just did that. You know, it's still pretty soon after a fight, so it's a bit boring just to get into pure miles, but you're probably covering 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometres just going around the cage.
Dance around the cage.
Yeah.
What's better than one belt? Let's go. My time.
You know,
Did you hear out from Cage Warriors about that? Or?
no, that's all I've seen. You know, I don't do orders for collection, but I'm pretty good at delivery. So it's like, my eyes are set on the UFC, but I would take a fight like that. If I'm taking that fight, at very least, an interim title fight between Harry and Harilla. That's at the very least.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've got to see what happens with the UFC. If a UFC fight happens, I'm happy. If that fight happens down the line, that'd probably be the biggest title fight in Cage Warriors history. I don't know if anyone's made as many defences, as many finishes as I have in the lightweight division, and he's got a big name to him. In Dublin, get some rolling donut and Guinness after. Sounds like a slice of fried gold.